I told every single person, Arsenal, don't judge them on what you've seen. Judge them on what you're going to see. Victor Gyokeres, Martinelli, Bukayo Saka. Every single person today put in a shift. And are we the first person to come out and say Arsenal deserved criticism in their pre-season games so far? They weren't good enough against my team, Tottenham. We made it very, very difficult for them to play. But you know what? Against Villarreal, we saw a counter-attacking masterclass. We saw Pepe perform. But you know what? Arteta went back to basics today, playing to his striker's strengths. Gyokeres on the score sheet. World-class talent, Bukayo Saka on the score sheet. And Kai Havertz, I don't understand the disrespect he gets. I don't understand the hate he gets. He's a player who, he's not necessarily a 9, and he's not necessarily a 10. But what Kai Havertz he does get goal contributions. There's no doubt about it. Arsenal 3, Athletic Bilbao 0. The same Bilbao, by the way, that scored against Liverpool not once, but twice. And do you know what? I was sitting at the pub. I was watching the game. I was digesting what I was seeing. A back four of Calafiori, Timber, Saliba, and Gabriel. No Miles Lewis-Skelly. Zubimendi and Rice. Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, and Gyokeres. And maybe Arteta's experimenting. Maybe he's going back to basics. We're going to break it all down. We're going to talk about Gyokeres' bullet header. Make sure you go down, drop a like on the video right now. And do you know what's crazy? And I really can't understand the logic, the concept behind it. 93% of you, yes, you right there, haven't subscribed. So please go down, hit that subscribe button, and let me know your thoughts. This was the lineup Arsenal played. David Raya, arguably the best goalkeeper in the Premier League, other than Alisson. Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, a double pivot of Declan Rice and Zubimendi, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, Gyokeres. Now, Martinelli has got a huge amount of criticism in recent weeks. Is he good enough? Listen, I have criticised this guy. I've said Arsenal need more. I've said they need a left winger who can consistently provide output. Is that Martinelli? I'm not so sure. However, today, he was very good. He got a goal contribution. He looked like he wanted to take his player on. He was probably the third or fourth best player on the pitch. The best player for me by a country mile was Bukayo Saka. And listen, if anyone thinks that Bukayo Saka isn't world class, you're out of your goddamn mind. He's done it on Champions League stage, scoring at the Bernabeu. He's done it on England, scoring in the Europa League, scoring in the Euro quarterfinal against Switzerland. And today, got a goal and an assist against Athletic Bilbao. Gyokeres, of course, on the score sheet. Zubimendi assist. The three best players on the pitch for me today were Zubimendi, Martinelli, and Saka. Of course, Arsenal kept a clean sheet like they normally do. In terms of the Bilbao side, this is a Bilbao side that consists of Nico Williams. There was no Barnett in a attacking midfield. Inaki Williams playing out on the right. A back four that pretty much plays every single game. In terms of, they got Simeone in goal, Spain's number one. Christian Mosquera, Ben White, Madueke, Ethan Wanyeri, Marino, and Kai Havertz, and Lewis-Skelly come on. For Bilbao, the only recognisable name I would say probably is Adama Barrio. Other than that, pretty much a standard Bilbao 11 standard Arsenal 11, and they got off to a pretty strong start in terms of the match stats. They pretty much dominated from start to finish. But for me, before we get into the game, before we get into the outcome, before we get into the goals, it was so important for Arsenal today to maximise this result. Liverpool have looked very strong in pre-season, and I'd be lying if I would say that Liverpool aren't the favourites for the Premier League again this season. For me today, Arsenal needed to get Gyokeres on the score sheet. And not only that, they needed to win convincingly. And they did that. 10 shots, 6 on target. Absolutely dominated possession. They dominated the stats on every single metric. There was no doubt in my mind that Arsenal were deserved winners. When you look at these stats, everything about it, shots on target, big chances created, accurate passes, possession, everything about this told you that Arsenal won this game. And they had a really strong start. They scored in the opening 35 minutes, a ball into the box, and a bullet header from that. I don't know what you call him. Do you call him I want to call him a phenom. That phenom, Victor Gyokeres, a guy that has been shit on by rival fans. I'm seeing Glock Tour. I'm seeing Glock Lukaku, a guy that's got 120 GA in his last 100 games for Sporting Lisbon. Played 15 minutes against Tottenham. Only played one training session. Barely played. Then made his debut against Villarreal. And the ball he didn't have any service. Today, he had service. And he made that count, scoring and getting on the score sheet against Athletic Bilbao. And then 2 minutes later, Bukayo Saka does what Bukayo Saka does best. Martinelli plays the ball into him, and it's a clever finish. You get to half-time, and I'm thinking, right, now Arteta's got to make a handful of changes. You've got to maximise your squad, and you've got to maximise what that squad is doing. And you see Ben White come on for Calafiori. You see Madueke come from Martinelli. You saw Mosquera come on for Gabriel. And I think the way that Arteta has managed Gabriel's minutes, listen, Gabriel for me is one of the best centre-backs in Europe, but he needs recovery and he needs to rejuvenate some of that energy. I'll be honest with you. He looks a guy right now that he's not tired, but he's struggling. He's struggling right now. He's just come back from a big injury, and they've managed that pretty good. And then Lewis Skelly come on for Timber. Lewis Skelly was then booked. And then a guy that has got so much hatred from so many Arsenal fans. Is he good enough? Is he not good enough? Picks up the ball from the halfway line, travels, beats one defender, beats two defenders, and then gets the shot away on goal. And that is Kai Havertz. And it's a left-footed finish into the goalkeeper's bottom left-hand corner. And I'll be honest with you guys. I'll be brutally honest with you guys. I think Kai Havertz is criminally underrated in this Arsenal setup. He's not a 10. He's not a number 9. He's not going to get you 25, 30 GA a season, but he's a big game player. We've seen that in his days at Chelsea, bagging Champions League final winners. And for me, I think the way that Arsenal need to manage Kai Havertz and Victor Gyokeres in this system, bearing in mind Gabriel Jesus, bearing in mind Gabriel Jesus, there's about 3 or 4 Arsenal players that are actually out injured that won't be fit until the start of the season. And the start of the season is only next weekend. Arsenal will be playing Manchester United. You know, that's not far away. They had to finish strong at the end of this pre-season, and they did that. They went out there today and battered Bilbao on every single metric. Now, Havertz, Rodrigo Goes, there's a handful of players right now that are being heavily linked to Arsenal. Heavily linked. Now, for me, I'll be honest with you guys. For me, if they don't sign an Havertz or Rodrigo, I don't want to say they're not going to win the league, but Liverpool, for me, are without doubt the favourites. Liverpool, for me, have got all the attributes to go and win this league, but it's down to Arsenal. You've got 3 weeks left. It's August the 9th. You've got up until the 3rd of September to go and maximise your transfer window. 24 days remaining. It's down to you. Opening game of the season, massive game. Sesko against Gyokeres. Arteta against Ruben Amorim. It's a massive game. Bruno against Odegaard. Doesn't matter how you want to dramatise it. It's a massive game in the football world. And I'll be honest. I'll be brutally honest with you guys. I think Arsenal are going to smash them to pieces. Today they struggled against Fiorentina. They lacked goals. They lacked conviction. They've got a manager who doesn't really know how to maximise his system as it stands with the players he's got. I think Ruben will do a good job long term, but as it stands, I think Man United, listen, it's a long day at the office when you play this Arsenal side. Make sure you go down, drop a like. Make sure you do hit that subscribe button and let me know your thoughts. Thank you all for watching. I am